Welcome to section 5.2, part 1. This is the 38th session of the CISSP exam prep series. Now that your assets are classified, this part shows how to handle them day to day. In this session, we'll cover the routines that keep sensitive data safe in motion. We'll answer several questions. How do you maintain data over its lifetime? How do you stop data from leaking out? Why does labeling matter so much? How should you handle and store media? Why is not collecting data a defense? And where should your backups live? Why does this matter beyond the exam? Because a breach rarely comes from a clever hack. It usually comes from a sloppy routine, a mislabeled tape, or a forgotten backup. Picture a research lab that guards its live systems perfectly but leaves an unlabeled drive on a desk. That single gap is all an intruder needs. The daily habits you build here are what actually keep the data safe. So how do you maintain data across its whole lifetime? You keep it organized so the right controls always apply. Scatter sensitive files across dozens of servers and protection becomes nearly impossible. One approach is to split networks, keeping classified traffic fully separate from ordinary traffic. An air gap enforces this physically, so the two never share a cable. When you must move data across, use a one-way bridge or a guard that only passes properly marked files. And review your policies regularly, since a stale rule or a poisoned training dataset can quietly become a new hole. How do you stop sensitive data from leaking out? You deploy data loss prevention, a tool that watches for information trying to escape. It scans unencrypted files for keywords and telltale patterns, like the shape of a national identity number. There are 3 flavors worth knowing. Network prevention sits at the edge and inspects everything leaving the organization. Endpoint prevention runs on the device and can block a copy to a USB stick or a print job. Cloud prevention is the same idea tuned for cloud environments. Most tools also hunt down where sensitive data hides, so you can go lock it down. Why does labeling sensitive data matter so much? Because a label tells everyone instantly how careful to be. A tape marked secret leaves no room for guessing. Labels come in 2 forms: physical tags on devices and digital marks inside files. A header, footer, or watermark travels with a document, even onto a printout. Smart teams also label the ordinary stuff, so an unmarked item looks suspicious rather than safe. And once media carries a classification, downgrading it is rare and tightly controlled, if it is allowed at all. How should you handle and store sensitive media? Treat the media with the same care as the data riding on it. A backup tape holding confidential records is itself a confidential asset. This applies just as much in the cloud as on site. A single misconfigured storage bucket can expose thousands of private records to the open internet. So set permissions on your cloud storage as carefully as you would on any shared folder and verify every handoff of physical media. Why is choosing not to collect data a real defense? Because you cannot lose what you never held. Imagine a small shop that passes each card straight to its processor and stores nothing. A later breach simply has no card data to steal. Contrast that with a firm that hoards every detail it can grab. One breach exposes the lot and triggers massive liability. The rule is clean. If the data serves no clear purpose, do not collect it. So where should your backups actually live? In more than one place, and far enough apart to survive a disaster. Keep one copy on site for speed and another copy well off-site for safety. Store the off-site copy too close and a single fire or flood could wipe out both. Larger organizations replicate data to separate geographic regions to keep it available. And if you back up to the cloud, confirm that copy really sits in a different location. So let's bring it together. Maintaining data means keeping it organized and separated so controls hold. Data loss prevention watches the exits in the network, on the endpoint, and in the cloud. Clear labels drive careful handling, and media deserves the same protection as its data. The safest data is the data you never collected, and backups belong in more than one place. Build these routines into daily work, and the classifications you set earlier actually stick. The MCQs covering all the topics and concepts from this session are available on rucloud.com. Practice the chapter-specific MCQs before moving on to the next session. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or feedback, post a comment below or email us. I will see you in the next session.